Hello, this is Megan Miller again with Restoration Ranch, and I'm going to spend some time today talking again about grief, and especially about anniversaries and even just what is grief, because when we think of grief, I think typically we can very much think of somebody who has died and we grieve their loss. And this is very, very true. However, there's other times in life that we experience grief and adjustments. And I think of times in life where we are going through transitions. Even if it's a positive transition, there are things that, say we get a promotion at work, there is this letting go of something that maybe we even wanted to let go of, but that we still miss maybe the people that we were with, or certain experiences of that workplace, or whatever it might be. There can be grief attached to even happy times, which can be kind of counterintuitive to think of. Even a marriage, again, something that's a transition in life that can be really exciting and happy, but it's also this grieving and this letting go of this season of life of being independent and not worrying as much about another person's interests and well-being. And so it's that transition and letting go of one phase of life and entering into a new phase of life. Another way we can grieve is even anticipating that we would experience something in life and not getting to experience that. So planning to get married and have a family and not having that happen. Or again, when we grieve the loss of somebody to a death or even their health, then we can grieve all kinds of experiences that we anticipated might happen in life and it didn't get to happen. Getting to see, like if a child dies, not getting to see them graduate, or not seeing them get married and have a life that you maybe as a parent got to receive and live life into a more full way than what your child got to, and how those untimely experiences, or not getting to have those experiences we anticipate wanting and desiring, how that can deeply grieve us. And so just want to acknowledge that, again, when we go through life, if it's the death of somebody, or maybe we get a divorce, there are maybe days where those events happened. And so we can kind of come face to face with our grief journey in a different way. We can be especially raw or emotional on those days when those things happen. And also being able to honor that we have that experience of grief, and other people may, for example, with a loss, somebody who has died in our life, other people may be grieving that same exact person, but they had a different relationship with that person. And so their grief journey looks different. Or say I get a divorce, my kiddo has a different experience of what it means maybe the day that the divorce was final. That's going to mean something different to a child versus one of the parents who got that divorce. And so just being able to honor ourselves in that journey, that being able to be attentive and give space for that grief and that sadness and that loss and what it means to us. Maybe we experience a variety of emotions, that sadness and that longing for somebody who has died, or even with divorce. Again, it's something that we sometimes think, well, somebody has chosen that, but that doesn't mean that there's not loss and that there's not sadness for a person who has even chosen divorce. We don't know the details of what led to that decision to not be in the marriage anymore. And so there can just be a variety of different experiences and emotions that come along with that grieving and that letting go and the remembering of that event again. So just really an encouragement for me today to be aware that grief comes not just when we lose somebody, but at transitions, even happy ones sometimes. And just to be able to find a space maybe to reflect and to allow tears to come. Tears can provide healing in our lives as we release tears. As silly as it sounds, it actually releases endorphins, feel-good hormones in our body. So as draining and as hard as it can be to let those tears come, they can be really healing and helpful in our journey with grief. And also being able to, I think so often in life, we can say, well, that person died 10 years ago, or you got a divorce 5 years ago, or whatever that number is. And we can think, you should be over that. You should be on with your life. It should be so much better now. You shouldn't have this deep grief. But when something happens and we don't have that same experience of life, that grief forever changes who we are and how we are in this world, oftentimes, with those big grief events. And so just being able to acknowledge, to have validity that there's a reason that I hurt. A line that I learned in grief group after the loss of my husband and my brother was, you miss them so much because you love them so much. And I love how that honors the deep pain of losing somebody that we love. And it just provides space to let that grief happen. And I think so often we can feel that pressure of move on, be okay. This happened at such and such date. You should be better now. And I just want you to know today that wherever you are in that grief journey, you do miss them so much because you love them so much. And it's okay to take the time and acknowledge the emotions that you have. So I hope this word was a blessing to you today, and that you just take time for your own grief journey today. Take care.